Today, I'm talking about my experience at the PAX West Gaming Convention. Hello everyone, I'm Adam Ashbaker and welcome to TimeLag Gaming. So if you don't know, PAX West is a gaming convention held every year in Seattle, Washington. There is also PAX East and others that are held in different states and countries. At these conventions, you can play games way before they come out. Not only this, but you can participate in tournaments, panels with creators and influencers, and there are sometimes presentations and announcements. There's so much that goes on at these conventions, but the main reason I go is to check out all the games early, and because the whole experience is just really fun. I've always wanted to go to a convention like PAX West, but I've never really looked into it. I wanted to do something fun and different for my 18th birthday, so I looked into it and went to PAX West in 2017. My girlfriend was busy and none of my friends had the money, so I ended up going alone. Even despite going by myself, I actually had a really good time. Now I did get lost, and it was kind of confusing at first, but overall it was a really good experience. That year Nintendo had a full-size booth for games like Super Mario Odyssey, Fire Emblem Warriors, and some others like Rocket League and FIFA. There were other Switch games at other third-party booths and indie booths as well. Besides these booths, they also had an event called Nindies at Night. This was an event held in the evening where you went into this room with about 20 people at a time, and you just played about 20 different brand new amazing indie games that weren't even out yet. Some of them still aren't even out now. It was very cool and fun time. If you played a certain amount of games, then when you left, you got a shirt and a metal pin. This is the shirt that I got, and I was a bit disappointed because the only shirt size they had was an XL because I couldn't get into the event until very late, so that's why I don't wear it as much. Also during this event, most of the different game stations were giving out pins and buttons and pamphlets for their games, so I ended up with a bunch of free stuff from that as well. You also get other pins from Nintendo's booths and other different areas during PAX West. Overall, it was a fun experience. Now, fast forward to 2018, and it was honestly a complete mess. I still had a really fun time. This year, I went with my friend Amir, who is actually going to college for game design right now. Now, first of all, what I loved about this year was that there were about 400 times more Switch games at PAX West than last year. However, Nintendo ditched the Nindies at Night event and replaced it with a Nindies Arcade. They squeezed this into the same booth as Super Mario Party, Smash Bros. Ultimate, Pokemon Let's Go, Diablo 3, and more. They packed in dozens of big games into this tiny booth, and it was a nightmare. It was nearly impossible to get into any of the lines. I was able to get into the line for Smash and Mario Party, as they opened up that line about every 20 to 30 minutes. However, the one single line that let you play dozens of games like Pokemon, Diablo, Starlink, the Nindies Arcade, and more was completely full and capped the second we got into the door. Amir and I got into the line for PAX West about an hour early, and we were pretty close to the front. For a little context, last year I showed up right when they opened the doors, and the lines went past several buildings and they shut down an entire street for a line to go through. Anyways, we got in about a minute after they opened the doors, and they had already closed the line for that main Nintendo booth section. And I came around every 10 to 20 minutes to check if they had opened it, and I never saw a single person get into the line. I'm sure they let some people in eventually, but it was basically closed the entire time. I literally went there on my birthday, for my birthday, and I wasn't even able to go into the main Nintendo booth that I came to play. Now, it gets even more ridiculous than that. It was an hour to closing. There was literally no line left for that main Nintendo booth. They had let everybody in the line go into the booth, and there was no line left, except they still weren't letting anybody go in. There was an hour left, and there were Nintendo employees just standing around inside the booth because there was hardly anybody inside even playing, because most of them had finished playing. Again, there was an hour left before people were going to be asked to leave the event. That is completely ridiculous, Nintendo. These huge lines shouldn't have been an issue in the first place. Nintendo should have requested another full-size booth so there was enough room for everyone who came to play the games. There was literally indie game publishers with bigger booths than Nintendo. Honestly, if they would have just put that Nindies Arcade back downstairs where they held the Nindies at Night last year, that would have solved most of the problems. But instead, they squeezed everything they had into a tiny booth. It was very disappointing that I wasn't able to get into Nintendo's main booth, especially because if you did, you got more free stuff like a Pokemon button, a gold medal Nindy's arcade pin, similar to last year's, a cool metal Diablo 3 pin, and a Nintendo drawstring bag. If they try to pull this again, I won't be going to PAX West again, unless I can get a press pass or a dev pass. And honestly, I don't recommend you go to any PAX convention either, unless you're interested in more than just Nintendo Switch games. However, if they do fix this problem and get more than one booth again, then I would highly recommend going because it's so much fun. And all this said, I did have a really fun time. It was even more fun having my friend come with me. And I also got way more cool free stuff than last year, so that's a bonus. Here's another look at some of the stuff I've gotten from PAX West. It's really fun going around and collecting all the pins and different items. This inflatable bat was from an indie game called Ninjala that had this huge booth with the entire thing decorated for the game. They had a massive screen on the wall and 2 sets of 4 people playing the game. One game was being shown on the big screen. Everyone who played got a bat, and if you won, you got this exclusive pin with one of the game's logos on it. I actually ended up winning, even though I didn't get the most kills, because I went for the robots that gave you the bonus points. It was a super fun experience, and I can't wait until this game comes out next year. Amir and I were planning on filming some footage for this channel when we went, but there was so much stuff that we just didn't know what to film, so we ended up filming nothing. If we can get this channel to 50,000 subscribers next year, we can go to PAX West with a press pass so we can give you guys coverage of all the games. I know that's a huge goal and it's not very likely that we will reach that, but who knows, maybe. Anyways, what do you guys think of PAX West? Does it sound like it's something you would want to go to? Let me know with a comment down below. Thanks again for watching.